What's going on, y'all? Johnny Wheeler Reacts. I'm Johnny Wheeler, and today I have a viewer requested video by Hakon Blum. I hope you're having a good day, pal. Good evening, or whenever you're seeing this. This is what is AFL. This once again another AFL rules explained video, but this was updated as of last year. Now, I would suggest this as it's supposedly, according to him, it's more for people like me on the outsiders looking in, and it's explained better, and then, like it says, it's updated. So hopefully, I'll learn a little bit more. I'm learning a little bit more each time, and I'm really starting to, follow this sport and kind of get into it a little. I'm not like I said in the channel before. I'm not gonna have, a favorite team, but I get the excitement. I want to understand it, and really get into it. So without any further ado, y'all, let's get into this one. Let's check it out.
A game in which players soar like eagles,
Yeah, that's
where a player can
no
run
doubt.
between 12 and 20 kilometres a game that's fast paced and brutal,
God.
a game that says the meek may inherit the earth, but they will never win games of football. This is AFL. For
Yeah,
me,
it
this is the
takes
greatest
a
sport in the world.
special
So
breed.
let's look at the greatest competition of them all, the AFL. You would allude to it as the Australian version of the English Premier League, the NBA, the NFL. It's the most watched competition by far in Australia, and it's the fourth most attended sport in the world. The AFL itself is contested by 18 sides that are all steeped in wonderful history and fabulous rivalries. The game itself is played between 18 players on the field of play at any one time, with an interchange bench of 4 players that can be switched over 90 times. They play over 4 20-minute quarters with time added on, and all the players line up in a certain formation. So to go through it, you've got your full forward line that are comprised of 2 forward pockets and a full forward. These guys genuinely there to attack the goal and trap the ball in the goal area. You may hear the terms pressure forwards. You may hear the terms crumbs if you watch the game. These guys are your strikers of the league, to use a soccer analogy. Then you've got your half forwards. These
Okay.
guys are there to set up scoring shots, to attack the goal as well, and are also charged with forward pressure and locking the ball in that area. And they would be very similar, I would say, to an attacking winger in the soccer. Kind of, like your Cristiano Ronaldo when he was a United player, very adventurous, marauding forward type player. Then you have your centre line players. Now these guys are the ones who recover the ball from the back line, look to set up shots, get the ball forward. They predominantly run 2 ways. They're made up as well with the 2 guys on the outside there, your wingers. They're kind of very rehearsed in defensive and forward, kind of like a wing back would probably be the best way to describe them. They're not quite an attacking winger because they do a lot more defensive jobs in the modern day AFL. But probably the most important part of the game. Then you've got your half back line. Now they're to recover the ball from the back line and to clear the ball to the midfield and to the forward line. These guys genuinely very quick, the smaller players on the flanks, the half-back flanks, and you have a term you hear a lot, key defenders and key forwards. These usually the players that are in the centre of the half-back line and the centre of the full-back line, who again, their job is to be a defender, to really lock down, get the ball out of the defensive 50, and to spoil all marks.
So their job, what he just said there is, if y'all will allow me to use an NFL term, they're kind of playing zone defense, like in a way to kind of entrap it in their areas and keep them play, solid D and attack and offensive run. That's I mean I'm gonna be using a lot of NFL terms so that it soaks into this noggin of mine. So I think that's how I got it. Of course, y'all are free to correct me if I'm wrong. I won't take any offense. That's cool. So I'm learning, y'all. So sorry about that. Let's do this.
And you can see that here, this is the format you can kind of evenly spread. And then you've got these interesting ones here, they're called followers. Now this is quite confusing for someone new to the game, but they're comprised of a ruckman and 2 on ballers. So a traditional name is the ruck rover and the rover. So generally these guys you'll see at the stoppages. So when the game gets stopped at centre bounce particularly, you'll see these guys around the centre, usually comprising of 1 really tall guy and 2 smaller players. And these guys are genuinely there to get the ball out of congestion. They're real tough. They go in and get the ball. These guys usually genuinely are the strong, hard men of the competition.
Got
And
it. Okay.
really the exciting players to watch. They play on a ground that dwarfs a standard soccer field in really all the known fields that they play sport, particularly the American ones. Like we say, they cover up to 20 kilometres per game, the average midfielder does in the AFL. And the game premise is to move the ball from one end to the other, and there is three predominant ways to do that. One is the handball, where the player uses their fist to project the ball to teammates. It's a very unusual style. You may see something similar in Gaelic football if you are akin to watching that, but it is very predominantly to the AFL. The other more obvious method is the kick, and that's where they can gain up to 50 metres at a time, aiming to try and hit a player up to get a mark, or they do kick to space and allow players to run on. And the final way to move, and it's something that you see a lot more in modern day AFL, very similar to the basketball, they have to run with the ball at hand, but must bounce it once every 15 metres. There isn't a limit to how much they could do that. You could run one end to the ground to the other if you do that. Very rare though, because the game doesn't allow much space. And when we're kicking, we're looking for these marks. Now, it's one of the most spectacular aspects of the AFL, and it's something that you don't see really in any other sport as exciting as this. And it's a game that allows you to use the opposition as a stepladder. The ball must travel 15 metres without anyone touching it prior to the player marking the ball, and it can't hit the ground. And if you do that successfully, we call it a paid mark. And that's where a player gets effectively a free kick from wherever he is on the ground with a 10-metre protection area to play his next kick.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps the most common mark you'll see, and the biggest aim, is to mark inside 50. Now, you'll notice on the field as it comes up now, there's these little red lines indicating where the 50 are, these semicircular arcs. If a player successfully takes a mark inside 50, they get 30 seconds to attempt to score a goal, and the object of the goal is to kick through the two middle posts. If you do that, you'll get 6 points. If you hit the post, or you get it through the other posts, or a player takes it of the opposition and runs it through the behind, runs it through the goal, there's no own goals in this game. It's a single point, resulting in the opposition getting the ball, and there will be a restart from that goal square there in the defensive 50. The game start is a really, I think, iconic part of AFL, and it's something that really attracted me, and it's called the centre bounce, and this happens at the start of each quarter and after every goal, and it is very similar to an NBA tip-off. It's contested between two ruckmen who will then attempt to jostle position of each other while jumping for a ball in the air and attempt to tap it down to their rovers, or attempt to punch it ball forward and get it away from the congestion. And perhaps the most entertaining part for any foreigner is how we have our restarts in the game. You'll notice that when the ball goes out the sidelines, we have a throw-in, and you'll see how the umpires throw it in. They get a lot of distance of that, and they create a mini version of the bounce between the two ruckmen. And it's really, for all intents and purposes, an umpire-led throw-in. It's a real weird part of the game, and it's something that amused me when I first started watching this great sport. Now, tackling is one of the best parts. It's a very physical style of game. And if you're familiar, like I am, in the north of England, rugby league, tackling is one of the iconic parts of it. It's what we all enjoy doing as kids.
Wait a second. Hold up a minute.
Best parts. It's a very physical style of game. And if you're familiar, like I am, in the north of England,
Not right. Yeah, I think it's this
league,
one.
Tackling is one of the iconic.
He just got bowled over. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. How you doing? I'm sorry, y'all. That. Okay. A couple of things I want to comment on real quick. The whole mark. So that's like a free kick with a 10-meter protection. That's cool. That's kind of like setting up for a field goal. I know it's not the same thing, so that's not, I know, but I can see why they're so important, and the crowd gets so nuts. I see why they're so impactful. I so understand that now. Yeah, craziness. All right.
Parts of it's what we all enjoy doing as kids. Tackling is permitted. It's got to be between the shoulders and above the knees. and you'll hear the
Okay.
crowd, if you watch the game, scream ball. And what they're trying to do is request the holding the ball rule, which means every time a player is tackled, they are given enough time to dispose of that ball. They must release the ball either via legal handball or a kick. And if they don't have the opportunity, it's called paying holding the ball, or you'll hear no prior, which means you're tackled before you had the opportunity to release it. We also have wonderful moments like bumps and shepherds off the ball. A shepherd is where a player effectively bumps or uses his shoulder to shoulder to protect another ball carrier from a tackle. And obviously the bumps you'll see quite often in a thing we have called taggers. Now taggers will remind you of players like Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane. Enforcers, they stop the good players playing and they look to stifle the opposition with bumps off the ball and intimidation tactics. Now, our wonderful AFL season over here is played over 22 fabulous games, with the top 8 making up the finals. And if we look at it, the top 8 can be one of the most confusing things in the world. But as you can see here with this graph, the top 4 go into what is called a qualifying final, where first and second place will be at home, and fourth and third will be away in that contest. And the losers of them games will go into what's called a semi-final, and they will be playing 5, 6, 7 and 8. 5 and 6 playing an elimination final. It's a knockout style type event, and the winner of that gets to play the loser of these qualifying finals, and then the winner of that goes on to whoever won the qualifying first and the qualifying second. Sounds quite confusing,
Okay.
but if you follow that graph it should get you through. And then we're at the biggest dance of them
I
all,
think I get it.
100,000 people in September at the MCG on a national day's holiday. If you live here in Melbourne, we all got the day off to watch it. You grab yourself a barbecue, grab yourself a nice cool beer, and you sit down and you cheer on your team or whoever you've adopted that day and cheer them on to glory. But it's not just team glory that we have in the AFL. Whoever finishes top of the ladder wins what's called the minor premiership, and it's not really that important. No one really talks about it. It's kind of just you've got the first qualifying final. We also have the Brownlow medal though, and that is a bit like our FIFA Player of the Year. And it's a very interesting way it's done. It's voted by the umpires on the ground that day. They give a 3-2-1 vote for the top 3 players on the ground. And it's called the best and fairest. And if you get suspended throughout the year, you forfeit your right to win the vote. It's a very tough competition to win, and only the cream rise to the top there. We have a Coleman medal for the leading goal kicker, and the leading goal kicker over here can range anywhere from 60 to 100 goals a year. And we have a Rising Star award that's given to the best player aged 20 or under on January the 1st that year, and must have played 10 or less games at the start of that calendar year. But for me, the greatest thing about this game of footy isn't the game itself. It isn't the marks. It isn't the spectacular, wonderful goals and virtuoso goals. But it's about the fans. It's about the cheer squad who use their spare time to make wonderful banners for the players to go run through at the start of the game. The noise they make, the chants they make.
The fans,
it's the rivalries
what
that
they
make
all
up
do
this
to give
game.
to the
It's
game.
friendly rivalry.
I can
Unlike
appreciate
the vicious
that.
rivalries we have in soccer in the UK, it's banter and it's fun and it's not death at all costs. It's retaining the equal passion for both sides and the love of the game. And it's about how spiritual this game is, how we remember our indigenous forefathers for allowing us to play this great game on the great grounds that the land is represented on. It's the community rounds we have, the indigenous round, the wonderful Guernseys, the wonderful dances we have at the start of the game. It's about bringing a whole nation together. The whole nation stops March to September to watch this great thing for me. But perhaps I'll save the best for the last. The iconic team song. The most iconic things in soccer are watching at Anfield singing You Never Walk Alone. It's a wonderful sight. But there's nothing so charismatic, I think, but seeing 22 blokes after they've won gather in the changing rooms to sing their famous song. And it is a wonderful thing to see. It's a wonderful spectacle and a wonderful sight. This is the wonderful game of AFL footy, the greatest game in the world. Welcome to a sport that combines not only the ferociousness of rugby league, the silky skills of soccer, the theatre of wrestling, the pantomime of NFL, all done without pads and a script. This is AFL, and this is sport at its purest.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That definitely broke it down for me. I'll say it. Marks, I know what they are now. I wished I'd seen this before I did the 50 marks of all time video. I wish I'd done that, but it is what it is. Because I could just see myself just getting so pumped for him. You know what I mean? And the goals of all time too, as well. But I mean, that was totally nuts. So thank you for suggesting that, buddy. Again, I hope you're having a great day or evening or whenever you're seeing this. And that was a good one. Y'all keep them coming. I hope y'all like it. Hit the like button and please subscribe. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Um, I thought that was really awesome. Once again, like I said, I'm always learning. That was really great, and I hope to, get more into it, and because now I understand a whole lot more than what I did before. Came away a little bit smarter, but that was awesome. So, post in the comments. Let me know what you all thought. Hit the like button once again. Please subscribe. Can't say how much I appreciate y'all's love and support, y'all's well wishes, and wishing me good luck on my channel and all those things. Y'all are just absolutely crazy awesome. Thank y'all very much from the bottom of my heart. Until the next one, guys, this is Johnny Wheeler, and I'm out.